So, after many takes, a lot of improvisations, experiments, and everything that comes with it, this is the first attempt of doing a lecture through VR using virtual reality, and it's for virtual reality. The topic today is virtual and augmented and mixed reality applications into digital marketing. So, how we use all these new technologies to actually commercialize experiences. Okay, so we're going to have a lot, but first of all, I'm just going to explain how this is going to take place. Generally, there's a second video in the end which actually showcases everything. I've got a different way of recording this. There are two kinds of perspectives. The one that you see right now, which you see it from a gigantic iPad, which you cannot see because it's actually recording us right now. There are different tools that you can see if you're using this particular iPad, which actually helps you do live and recording. Right now we're recording a video. It's going to be recording, won't be live, because that would be the alternative we had if you were choosing that approach in terms of Hangout. So we would do that live, and you would join us through Facebook. So anyways, so we've got this particular record device which actually hides some of my controls. So I screen recorded a video which I'm showcasing a bit, around, how's Facebook, what's the concept and how you can operate it. For now, what we do is, we're going to use this device, this iPad, which is going to give you a 2D perspective of virtual reality. I think is going to assist us for this session. When it comes to the presentation, first I'm going to show you around. I'm going to show you the concept, and then we're going to start the presentation. So basically, this is the environment, and the reason why I'm very careful and I'm going to see me a little bit, because I'm using the controls, which actually are my hands, and I can close my hands and open, close, open. What I can do also, there's different buttons for different, I can use them like, guns, So the other thing is there are levers which actually let me emote. Now, this is my angry self. I'm not angry right now. So this is the normal. This is the happy. This is the wow thing. So this is, I think blushing or laughing, laughing. Rolling on the floor, laughing. So I'll try to use them. But, the thing is, I'm trying to center, the whole scenery, so we are able to develop and perform this better as we can. So let me show you. So here we are. This is, as you can see, the 360 that I have on my timeline, and basically what we can do. And as you can see, that's the presentation. I'll try to keep it in frame, hence why this was modified a little bit, and was a bit wary on changing positions. So anyways, I'll try to adjust the camera. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn, as with the iPad, with the the front camera. I know it's a bit weird because we are in virtual reality, but this is let's call it an iPad because we are in Facebook. Okay, we're not in, so let's call that an iPad. And so we just change the camera, adjust the screen, so it has me in the frame, and I'm hoping right now I'm going to be in the frame because I won't be able to see myself. I want to see where I'm recording. So let's move position into the front of the camera and start the lecture. So during this lecture, what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be showcasing a couple of things when it comes to the technology. I'm going to be we're going to be stopping and using this environment to actually showcase videos. First of all, we're going to go through the points, and I'm going to talk to you about the points first, and then after we go through the main points, and we define what's virtual reality, what's augmented reality, mixed reality, then we're going to move on into showcase examples of different realities here in VR. And then of course in the end we're gonna have a couple of videos, 360 videos to showcase the examples. So for now, in the end we're gonna spend 5-10 minutes talking about the concept of Facebook and Facebook Spaces. I'm in virtual reality right now, how this is going to change the way Facebook communicates online. But anyway, for the time being, let's start with the presentation. So with regards to the presentation, today we're going to be talking, as that's the topic, as virtual, augmented and mixed reality applications, digital marketing. So if we were to move forward, so what's virtual reality? Virtual and augmented reality is refers to a high-end user interface that involves real-time simulation and interactions through multiple sensorial channels. So as you see now, and I'm just going to pause this, is we're using a high-end user interface right now to actually interact. I mean, if you were here and if you were in this table that is showcased in Facebook Spaces, I would have you sitting around and actually being able to interact with our avatars. So this is me, the avatar, as you see, where and as you see, lost some hair from last year when I did the first broadcast. So so basically, when it comes to virtual reality, one of the important aspects is that there are different levels and layers of virtual reality. First of all, we have the 360, image and static image and videos. Then we have the animation, the interactive. This is what you see right now, which is an interface which actually allows you to do many things and combine many things, including photos and videos. And then of course it's having this kind of how do you say, multifunctionality. It has to be real time. Now this is recorded. When you will see it, it will be recorded, but it's real time if I wish to be real time. So if I had, let's say, a couple of you guys here around the table, it would be real time. If it would be broadcasted, it would be real time. So as this is a recorded video, when you see it, it won't be real time, but generally the simulation and experience is real time when you're in this environment. And of course the interactions, as you say, if you're able to come in, if you're able to see it, if you're able to share it online, then that is considered real time. So in order to continue, why do we use VR? VR is able to immerse you into a digital world of your own making, a room, a city, the interior of your human body. With VR, you can explore any uncharted territory, so including the human body. So you can go within yourself. Now, okay, not yourself, but generally the human body. So basically, why do we have to do VR? I mean, the humankind always seek to have some form of escapism, the ability to actually travel to an alternate reality, to be able to how do you say, in order to be creative, in order to be isolated, in order to experience things, unique things. With virtual reality, what you do is you have the way to actually automate this by using software. So basically what we have right now is the VR concept. The VR concept is relied on the use of computer technology to create simulated environment. This is the environment that is simulated, but of course this sits within the Rift. So Rift is an ecosystem of virtual environments which have a shop and different kinds of software, or platforms if you want. users are immersed and able to interact with others in 3D worlds. So for example, if you were here around the table, we'd be able to have a conversation. The alternative thing would be actually to broadcast live and have you interacting through text, which actually would appear here and suspended around me, and I would see your comments. Even if you don't have VR, we could actually have a discussion and actually have a group a session on group chat with video. So you would see me like that with my avatar. I would see you in 2D with your own appearance, because you won't be in VR, so you won't have an avatar. So again, this is about interaction mostly. So primarily is like breaking the boundaries of time and space to actually come together and interact. And it's an interesting perspective, because when we are talking about a class, let's say an immersive class, and we're talking about broadcasting 360, it's not real time. You transport the image and sound in 360 modes and 360 spatial sound, but you're not actually transforming the personalities. It's still a video. It's not, there's a barrier there. With this one, you might not have the real-time image, but what you do is you have a real-time avatar, a hologram if you want, within that reality that actually responds to your movements, as you see here: closing hands, opening hands, okay, changing expressions. I mean, like, quite primitive. I bet this will change with face motion tracking in the future, and you won't need to actually I'm hoping that I didn't move that because I saw a movement. So anyways, the next thing is by simulating as many senses as possible, the computer is transformed into a gatekeeper to this artificial world. So basically what happens is, right now what I'm wearing is an Oculus Rift headset with the headphones, with the goggles and the handsets. Now these have some feedback in terms of vibration. They're not really good, but if I would wear haptics, I would have 70-80% of my perception, or connection with the world. So for me, what's real is what I sense. And let's say if we say that visual perception is 65 to 70%, and a sound is another 15%, then what remains, taste, smell and touch, completes this kind of perception. So instead of just plugging me in as in Matrix through the back of my neck with an input device, I believe that this is the closest thing of plugging me in, because what we have right now is plugging the reality through your senses, through your sensory input, and that sensory input serves what's real and what's not. And of course, yes, the resolution around me is not that good. Maybe you can see these letters over there, but or maybe you can't. Regardless of that, you have that on Google Sites and you have it on Google Slides. But the thing is, the better the reality, the better the resolution and the quality of experience, and the more senses covered as input devices, the more we get immersed into this reality. And it's very hard then to distinguish between what's real and what's not. So then also limits to the near rest VR experiences are the availability of content and cheap computing power. So you can do that with the Rift, but the Rift one right now is cabled. There's a wireless coming out very, very soon device, but basically it's connected to a very expensive PC. And what happens is, in order to actually be able to deliver that kind of quality, it's very expensive. But we have Oculus Go, we have Gear VR, we have all the other kinds of devices which actually allow you to deliver that kind of experience. And finally, what we have is VR places are inside an experience. So we are in one of these places, and that's important because, if we take that marketing, traditional marketing, and the 4 Ps, that were developed back in the 50s, one of them is place. That redefines place. So where are we talking about? And when I say where, I can actually go through my toolcase here and search for media. So for example, I'll go to 360 videos and I'm gonna search 360 and let's see where I wish to be transported. 360, okay, and I'll choose something that comes up. Let's live from this, Greek my timeline video, and just use this one. I'm hoping it's gonna play. Yes, it does. And I'm just going to remove that, and as you see, we are transported, and I can remove myself and the table, and there we are. We're just floating. So as you see, what we have right now, oops, we're underwater. This is a random thing from National Geographic that I chose, and as you can see, we're in the bottom of the sea right now, far away from the top. So basically, this is, what we say when we're talking about experience, because you are in the bottom of the ocean right now. You're missing the diver. Oh, there's a diver. And we are talking about virtual reality and digital marketing. So if you were selling,
you drift through this
I'm
place
sorry
and you
about
see
that.
these stands of Elkhorn coral.
Okay. So sorry for ruining the experience. So if you were doing scuba diving lessons and you wanted to create a 360 video out of it to actually promote it on different channels about the experience, this is the closest you can get somebody to the actual experience, how it is to be down below the sea, to make them want to engage. So anyways, that's it. That's back. Looks like the beach right now. So we return back to the presentation. We have more opportunities. Okay, take that experience. Maybe we want to return back to the bottom of the sea later. So basically, place could be anywhere. Place could be in the solar system. Place could be anywhere around the world. It depends on what you want to communicate and what you want to use it for. I mean, we can bring a lot of examples here and look really cool, but we have to remember this is a lecture, and we need to stick to the topic. So in order to continue, once you have control of the space and the experience of the customer, of the person that that you're communicating to, we need to understand what means, because we define what reality is. Reality is what we sense and what we perceive to be around us, engulfing us, and what we live, what we feel. So therefore it's important if the senses are well adjusted to the input devices. So when we have haptics and gloves, the feel that we get is as similar as it is if it's hot, cold, if it's a touch, if it's a rough surface, so that's far away from the haptics right now that we have. There is haptic technology, but it's not as good and as close. So basically what we need to do is, we need to use very good input device, and one of the things that's very important for all types of realities is display. What's the display? And that the display is the one that actually plays a significant role in terms of the experience. So what's the resolution, what's the quality. And you know, in virtual reality, what I'm wearing right now is the head-mounted display, UMD it's called. But also, in addition to that, we have cave room size screen projectors, which actually emulate what is to be in another spatial, you know, alternate spatial location, or you know, replicate this kind of experience that you have right now wearing this head-mounted you know, device. Certainly less how to say, unpleasant, because it's like snorkeling. I know we're looking earlier on this video, and it's causing some discomfort, but generally it's not as good and as cool in terms of how it works with movement and, you know, with sensing. So what we have here is different, and I'm hoping you can see this. So we have different kinds of apps. So we have Google Daydream, Vive. Let me just take it back and pause it. So Google Daydream, Vive, HTC, Gear VR, Oculus, and as we can see here, I don't know if you can see, we have Google, we have HTC, Facebook, Oculus, and the bottom over there, and if you can't see it, you can actually go to Google Sites and see the slides. What we have is Zuckerberg and his latest speech, that he was talking about all these devices and looks at the very first VR, the latest VR, you know, you can see the controllers, which actually I'm using right now. And it looks like in 10-15 years time is seeking to go to something smaller, lighter, and more comfortable to wear. So this is, you know, the glasses, you know, and it's interesting to see the glasses because Google has done this. So the glasses signified one thing, augmented reality, mixed reality, because you're able to see through. It's not blocked as VR. But I would say the ability to actually you know, become part of the reality, and then being remote from the reality, becoming remote from the reality, and move yourself into an area where you are having your own personal experience. The ability to have both in one, I believe we're going to have soon an integration in terms of devices. Many people are talking about it, but generally this is the market and this is the vision that we have, and we're going to explain right now, because we start with VR. Before we move on to others, we need to actually see what is VR. So basically, virtual reality is working through the audiovisual information which is replicated in this virtual environment, and there's active research and development efforts which are still being conducted into other senses. So we have haptics, as we said, we have smells. I'm not sure about tastes. So, but this is what they're working, they're on the way. The haptic system is getting better, but it says a lot of way to actually develop hot, cold, and different, you know, a sensation of surfaces, you know, with touch. Tactile inputs such as omnidirectional treadmills allow users to feel as through they're actually walking through. So walking through is still an issue because you teleport using these joysticks and these controllers, and you can teleport in space. I would do that, but you know, would ruin the presentation. I've rehearsed it for ages. So and then it has progressed from simple spinning weight rumble motors to futuristic ultrasound technology. So there is ultrasound technology right now that is, and if you go online and you search on that, there is ultrasound technology for haptics, which actually emulates space in space and time. So what happens is you have let's say a little mat in front of you, which actually has ultrasound, which then manifests objects in space-time. So you can actually translate and transmorph you know, these frequencies to make you feel the object in front of you without any gloves. Amazing. So anyways, so virtual reality device market is expected to reach 407 million by 2018. So that was a report that was produced in 2017, and that was by Facebook. So 24 virtual reality and augmented reality devices are expected to be sold by 2018. Remains to be seen whether this was achieved by the next year report. By 2018, the virtual reality market could reach or should reach 7 billion, with 2.3 billion from VR hardware and 4.7 billion from software. Now, I don't believe it's going to get as high, but the estimates are really optimistic. So VR 30 billion revenue by 2020, and more than 12 million virtual reality headsets will be sold in 2017, according to the same report. So basically, we can see that the market is huge, but instead of just throwing millions and billions, let's go to the next slide. And the next slide is going to be looking at a particular parts of reality. So types of R's. When I wrote types of R's, I meant types of realities. What kind of reality are we talking about? We have telepresence. So basically, we have, through virtual reality, somebody teleporting in another dimension, not dimension, but let's say another being, usually a cyborg. We're using virtual reality in order to do surgery, right now to lecture. There's other professions like engineers to build things, maybe into nuclear stations, which there's a lot of radioactive and health and safety issues, radioactivity, etc. Then we have augmented reality, which is actually, now I know here what we have is Magic Leap, but I like to put a nice image. Basically, augmented reality, according to me, there's no clear distinction right now, because we have different genres and different types of professionals trying to define the space and giving different kinds of names. And my distinction has to do with when you're using your phone to actually augment the reality around you, and you have a third perspective. That's how I call it, because you have the phone and you have to keep it away. And the other one is a type of headset, and that distinguishes between augmented reality and mixed reality. So mixed reality, you are immersed in a medley between the real world and the digital world. When augmented reality is you hold a device that from a third point perspective is augmenting your perception of reality. And then full and immersive VR. And now VR is already took off and is getting steps ahead, but mixed reality is still lagging behind. There's a lot to be done there. For example, devices don't have as broad visual field as all the other devices. This is HoloLens, for example, or Magic Leap. So when it comes to VR, the industry is far ahead, and technologies are more advanced. So give us the opportunity to get immersed more, get connected better with this kind of experience. But again, that means that if it's more effective, it finds more funds around the world, and hopefully it will take off, which actually means that this is a market growing. And for digital marketers, and you will be thinking right now, why we're having this lecture, why am I bothering doing it in virtual reality? Just to show you a perspective of the things you can do in virtual reality. We'll see more in a bit as we go, because we're going to have more opportunities and examples. But again, it's the fact that digital marketing has to take advantage of every bit of technology. These new technologies are going to become social technologies. And look at it, we are in Facebook Spaces right now. Facebook is the digital marketing platform after Google. And that particular maybe type of interaction, maybe now being primitive, but in the future is going to get better. It's going to get more effective, and maybe it's going to get more popular. Because right now I'm alone in this room. I could be sitting with 5-10 students. I could be sitting with Matt. It's all about having the technology and the ability to actually get this technology to the open market and to the mainstream. So basically what we have here is, let's talk about mixed reality. So what's mixed reality? So I don't know if you can see, okay, let me remind you, you can see on Google Sites, the slides, if you want to have them on the side. So mixed reality is the result of blending the physical world with the digital world. Mixed reality is the next evolution in human, computer, and environment interaction, and unlocks possibilities that before now were restricted to our imaginations. It's made possible by advancements in computer vision, graphical processing power, display technology, and input systems. So basically what we have is human, computer, and the actual physical environment mixed together. And the area which, interjects everything is what we call mixed reality. We have Magic Leap, Microsoft HoloLens, and we have Acer's and HP's different interpretations of Windows mixed reality. Now, I must say, the war right now is between Magic Leap and Microsoft HoloLens. Acer is good. I mean, there is a lot of attempts done by Apple, but that's only on augmented reality, not on mixed reality, not having a headset, a dedicated headset. They make promises that something's coming, but it's still on the way. So basically, this is one of the most non-advanced bits of technology. What we have there, and I'm sorry if you see my hands covering my face, is the different applications of mixed reality. So what we have here is we have, let's say, I'll just press play. You can see the football up there. Actually, this is a home application. We can see the military application up there in the corner. Let me just return it back. We can see over there the crafting and design and engineering. We can see the Mars rover. HoloLens was using that with NASA scientists to work in mixed reality in their lab with the Mars rover first images. Then we have another engineer over there, and we can see office applications. We can see another home application like Skyping and sharing information, surgery, and actually working in a medical profession. And then, of course, working, within, let's say, a city services infrastructure. So what we see in mixed reality, it's very promising. And it is the future. However, I believe, and that's my personal opinion, that there's always going to be an element for virtual reality to go away from this world, escapism as we call it. And there's always going to be a need to mix and, enhance the reality, which in a way augmented reality is, but it's not as holistic and as natural as it is with a headset. As it is with mixed reality. So when it comes to augmented reality, we're talking about an enhanced version of reality where live, direct or indirect views of physical real-world environments are augmented with superimposed computer-generated images over the user's view in the real world, thus enhancing one's current perception of reality. So what we have here is different types of reality. We have marker-based reality when we hold the phone. So we can see there's either a phone or an iPad device, kind of a device, and I will explain later on how this works with everything. But we have a marker-based augmented reality when you hold your phone on top of a marker and to signal, and this marker is scanned. That signals the animation or the enhancement of reality. Then we have markless augmented reality. So we have, let's say, Google Maps superimposed over a certain road, and when you hold it over, you can actually see reviews or Google reviews or and enhances your reality, but this is without markers. This is using GPS. We have projection-based augmented reality, when you project things in your natural environment and you can actually see it without a device, so using a projector. And then we have superimposition based augmented reality, when you superimpose 3D objects in real environments, digital objects. And there are different applications in terms of how augmented reality benefits the world, and we have many examples. Some examples you will see in the next slide, when the next slide arrives. And what we have here is we have art, as you can see there on the top, when the art becomes to life. When you hold it, so you scan any kind of artwork and you can actually superimpose augmented reality. If you have a problem with your engine, you can actually see how to fix it, and you can hold your phone over it. We have magazines coming to life on there. We have games. We have product enhancement over there with Dr. Pepper. You have the Harvard Business Review over there, where the book comes to life. So we can augment the book. We have so many applications, and you can see there the future in the corner on the left, how things can be enhanced in our environment. So let's look at the different types of VR, AR, and HR hardware. We have reality, which is mixed augmented reality, virtual display haptics, called BOOM. BOOM is the Omni Orientation Monitor. Okay. We have scanners, sensors that work with mixed reality, but also we have sensors on the virtual reality, because what we have is, in order to actually track your motion and track where your hands are, whether you're upset, you're happy, you have to actually track everything. So the two trackers with VR, equally the scanners and sensors, and also haptics and motion, and of course the animation that should give feedback. So it's three-dimensional interactive digital activity, which it's very complicated. But in augmented reality, we can see that we have the smartphone, we have beacons, object visualizers, and then on the virtual reality side, we have 360 image video and interactive immersion. We'll see in a bit, but we need to make that kind of distinction, because we have 360 image video, and on the other hand, we have interactive animation, animated material, and that determines how the more interactive the experience, the more real it becomes, and of course, the more the feedback you get back from audio-visual and haptic and sensory output, the more the experience becomes more real. So again, an interesting way to actually put this thing together. So here we have, how do we come to the concept? So okay, so we said that why this is important, why we have to be on virtual reality or augmented reality or mixed reality. The question is, how do we commercialize it? Why do we need to commercialize it? As we said in the beginning, when mobile phone came out and we used GPS, geolocation wasn't a thing, but it became a thing right now because everybody's using it, and everybody's when the assistants came out, nobody used it, but now more people get into it. So what we have is more complicated SEO information on search engines, but also more complicated PPC campaigns, because we have conversational data rather than words, keywords, or key phrases even. In this case, what we have here is, this is a growing market, and we are now on the VR, where VR is growing, and we see that later on in one of the next slides, which outlines the market growth. To commercialize the digital reality is to commercialize the environment, this environment that you see. So, for example, if I take out the slides for a bit, let's say returning back to National Geographic. But which kind of environments are we talking about? Let's see some, media. We have the 360 images or videos. Let's see this one. We can be with lions in Africa. So imagine if you always want the safari. I don't think you will ever get that close to lions, but this is the closest you can be right now, but it's not as real. Some people debate whether that's going to destroy the market for safaris. Others say that's going to augment it. It's good for how to say, tourism. So, not to return back, this is one of the how to say, activities or experiences. So let's see if we have anything else. And that was the sound that came from the video. Let's see if we can find anything else. Trying to find something that's going to be appropriate, something more let's see, racing, for example, Red Bull. So here we are in a formula, and I think we're looking at the wrong way around. I would be happy to display this video, but I would recommend to see it on your own. So this is a 360 video, which is live, as you can see, and shows you somewhere in the world where the race takes place. Basically, you see the back, but I wouldn't change my point of view. So again, that's another perspective, which is branded. This is the only point that is not rehearsed, so I have to look for more evidence, because I'm actually searching it online as we speak right now. That's a good thing about controlling fully the environment, especially in a communication level. Imagine if you could have people and broadcasting 360 experiences on command, and people want to actually watch this. So that's the best advertisements can be. I can't find anything else, so I'll just leave something nice playing while we continue with this. And I think when you get the blue screen, it's not blue screen of death, but I think this video can't play for some reason. Find something else. Let me see. One more. I'll try to find something nice. Okay, I'll put the festival. So there we go. I'm hoping it works. I'll put the other one away. And no, it's not working as well. Okay, delete. Let's put the lions and continue. So here we are. So basically, now that we changed the environment, let me just return back. The sellable points for commercializing digital realities is that, for example, virtual reality creates a digital environment and allows you to control it. This kind of environment, as you can see. For example, 360 video provides a new perspective. This is the 360 video. As you see, we are, in Africa amongst lions doing this lecture. The immersive, which creates a multisensory digital experience. The augmented reality, which overlays digitally created content. You can actually have overlaying digital content in virtual reality, or wear a virtual reality headset on Samsung, let's say, Gear phone, which opens up the camera and can relay augmented reality. So, the singularity thing is not impossible even now. And then mixed reality blends digital content onto the real world. So having this, you're actually controlling how the reality blends with the embedded material. And for the marketer, this is an important element, because right now what we do is we digitize experiences. So what we have there is that the three main elements, the three main parts of the process. First one is source of the data, sensors, cameras, Internet of Things, enterprise data. Second is presentation of the data, visual overlay, auditory material and live video, interacting with the using the data, which is using different types of data, personal, interpersonal, interactive data, okay, where the person is watching. For example, we have the heat map being most useful in terms of analytics on how many people look and where do they look. And let's put again the other video. So, and then it all comes with the user. So the user is the one that actually creates all this information. And imagine if you're able to be, and we see the different applications, but imagine if you are in a restaurant or in a supermarket virtually, and you're able to actually study behavior, buying behavior, in three-dimensional worlds. And you understandably, when you have digital communications, even now when we have websites, we know exactly when everybody's clicking, where they're going. So imagine if you can pinpoint in the three-dimensional world how this thing can work better for companies, and how it can benefit companies. So so that is an important aspect. Commercialization is an important aspect of digital realities. The market, as we can see here, so the blue is augmented reality, and it's larger and more expanded because it has been there with the phones for a long time now. It's not something new. It's been there since 2016, 2012, I would say, with Google glasses that vanished from the market. Everybody thought that would be the end back then. Then green one, the growing one, is virtual reality. As we can see, 2019 is forecasted to actually start reaching augmented reality levels. And then on the side, I don't know if you see it with black, is mixed reality, which is like 0.1, 0.1, 0.2 and 0.3 in the graph. I'm hoping I'm away from, and you can see the graph, and I'm not in the visual field, but again you can see it on not social media, in the Google sites and your notes. So basically, I was thinking when I was doing this presentation, how would I be able to create some impact to you guys, to understand the different topics that I'm talking about right now. I mean, I had to actually thinking about breaking that down to different kinds of markets, so you can understand the applications better. Now, I would like to say for now we are in we're going to be using services and other kinds of industries and looking at particular applications. Now, as you can see there, we have some examples, but we'll try to find examples as we go. So before we go, as I said, I would like to make a distinction between the animated environment, and I would like to show you the environment that we're talking about. So basically, what we have here is and cut. Cut here.